When we look at the benefits of accessible textbooks to populations, say, of students with physical impairments, which generally encompasses about 188,000 students, we talk about addressing limited dexterity. So if students are unable to turn a page on the book or access a hardbound book, we can provide it in a computerized version that allows students to access it even through the use of a switch to turn the page. Another example is students with learning disabilities, which makes up about 45% of our special ed population. The accessible textbooks allows these students to keep pace with their general education non-disabled students in terms of the content that they're reading and how they access that content. And then students with mental retardation were allowed to really constrain presentation of the material. So if students are distracted by a large amount of content, by images, those kinds of things, through the use of an accessible textbook, we can reduce the amount of content that they see at any one time. We can highlight key points in that content automatically. We can reduce the use of images, okay, so that we ensure that the students have the most success in terms of paying attention to that content. In this session, we're going to take a look at one Web 2.0 or open source tool called Bubble.us. Okay? Basically what this is this is a free graphic organizer tool that you can use online. Okay? In the session activity folder that you will find in Angel, you will see a description of Bubble.us. There's also a tutorial video that you can watch and a more lengthy discussion of the session activity and the requirements. Here you can see that the graphic organizer you create should depict the role of accessibility and technology in special education. You're going to identify the critical legislation that drives these factors, examples of how technology can impact accessibility, and the particular populations of students that are impacted. Okay? The content that you use in the graphic organizer should come from the readings, but also from the lecture content that you have just listened to. And then finally, the design of the graphic organizer should include, of course, different colors and an appropriate design so that it's easy to read and demonstrates your proficiency in using Bubble.us. So I'll be grading for two things. One, the content and your understanding of the content in this session, and two, your use of Bubble.us. Next week, you will want to read Chapter 1 and 2 before our next session, and we will be taking a look at recent brain research and an introduction to universal design for learning. And finally, we will cover technology in the IEP, which we would have covered this session, but I wanted to save for a face-to-face session. Remember, if you have any questions about the activity or accessing the content for this week's session, make sure you email me at kstewart@pittstate.edu or contact me through Angel.